There we go.
Grand Rising. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show. My name is Andre Hill. I'm your host. We have a full panel this morning, and we're at war, so we got a whole lot to talk about. These human fools have lost their mind, and out of desperation, they're trying to do everything they can to hold on to this dumb crap called white supremacy or domination. And it ain't gonna happen. We're gonna talk about how and why. First of all, I want to introduce the panel. We have the chairman up in Detroit. Chairman, has it warmed up there yet?
Yes, it's going to be in the 50s today. So we're looking forward to that. And it's nice and sunny. Spring is in the air, but it's not here.
But it's coming, huh?
Yes, Grand Rising anyway.
The Grand Rising, Chairman. Yes, it's also, we have our Aboriginal scholar up in Atlanta, Georgia, Mama Kelly. How you doing this morning, Mama Kelly?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you. Everything is good. We are looking at silly, stupid things that are happening with the defunct government, but we are working on an exit plan.
Absolutely. We're going to solve this problem this morning on this show, Mama Kelly. So,
okay.
So let's make this. Also, we got my son, the engineer. I'm gonna get this right one day. I call him Juris Doctor, Chief Attorney. But he's the engineer. He's a good engineer, man. I hate to say this on the air, but without him, I don't know how we would get this stuff going with the new technology. But he's the one that keep us flowing and keep us riding. And he's from that generation that needs to know how to keep this stuff flowing. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all good. Listen, I'm gonna get one of these younger folks. The younger folks that's younger than me to come in.
I heard that. You got to spread that knowledge.
But yeah, I'm keeping it together by stitches and threads, But all is well. All is well. We we've got great things going on behind the scenes. So, in spite of everything that's happening in the world, we still optimistic and pushing forward. So it's all good.
Hey, well, I don't know if you all can see. There's a glow and a smile on my face because all these happenings are indications that we're getting close to our final exam as a species. And so this is just a big test, and all we have to do is apply our wisdom with the NAPA order. We have a council of elders with our Aboriginal UAAR, United Aboriginal American Republic, and we know exactly what to do and how to do it. We just need all of you to tune in to this frequency. It is not complicated. Put away all of the old taboos, all of the old religious ideologies, all of that. The spirit of the Christ is within us, and when we tap into it as a collective, we can move mountains. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We got some more pieces of the puzzle that we're going to add on. But the topics, as I discussed in my post yesterday, why are our children coming up missing? I had hinted to that there's one particular phenol code that has orders to go back beneath the surface, and 3i Atlas is here to enforce it. So we're going to show you some more proof of that happening. Also, we always talk about being under duress, making decisions under duress. And, in order to get the hookup, we tell our kids, go to school, get an education, and then the underlining is get in a sorority or fraternity so you can get the hookup to get a good government job. So we're going to explain the consequences of that. Also, the legacy of Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson. I don't know why I'm messing him up this morning. He was advocating for us to announce we are African American, but all the while it is believed, I don't have any proof, it's just hearsay, it's believed that he was getting paid as a Cherokee. Meanwhile, telling all us to, go sign up as African Americans, which is not a nationality for America. Now, back in the 70s and the 80s, I met Jesse Jackson at Sammy Davis Jr. House first time, a long time ago. And I didn't get a really good vibe as a young man to an older brother. I didn't get a warm and fuzzy feeling. And then later on in Washington, D.C., I met him again at a funeral of a close friend of mine that was murdered up in D.C. And he walked right past me, no warm, fuzzy feeling. And then when my child care center was being attacked in Nashville, I went to his office in D.C. to ask to get some relief. And I was totally ignored. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I bet Mama Kelly could probably expand on that. And Hillary Clinton, after she was deposed, for about 5 or 6 hours, she came out with a straight face and said, "I don't know Jeffrey Epstein, but but I knew Maxwell, as a casual acquaintance." And I'm going like, well, Maxwell was the madam. The pimp, he don't do anything. The madam was one that was hooking you up. So this is a clown show, and we need to get out of it and stop trying to fix it. But anyway, let's open it up. Mom Kelly, by the way, and Chairman, I know you got some updates on 3 Hour Atlas, so we'll bring that in. But Mama Kelly, give us your take on what's going on with World War III.
Okay, just this morning, you know that the whole thing is about the bankers. It's all about the bankers, okay? The fact that the money, they want to continue to just print money that has no backing in the real life, like gold or silver or oil or crops or forest. Forests are very, very profitable. But, the fight is amongst the ones at the top. And we can see with this Epstein thing, we can see that all of those who have been put in power are compromised in the worst way, morally. I'm talking about no morals at all. And they are blackmailed. This is why we have all of this stuff going on, even every one of our so-called leaders, they come to our communities every 2 years to get voted in, or every 4 years. I don't think we have senators, but we have 1 or 2 senators, but we have these representatives who only represent Israel. Why? Because Israel pays them, but many of them are also compromised. They are compromised because not only have they gotten money, but they have engaged in immoral and sadistic and non-human behavior, toward people, but children. And like, for instance, even people were surprised that Deepak Chopra and the Dalai Lama and the Pope are involved. Of course they are. This is the satanic so-called religion that has actually destroyed this country, actually at the very beginning, because Benjamin Franklin, he sold us out then. Okay? When he went over to sign that document, that the Moors say, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, it was supposed to be the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. But they signed it. But then they went and joined, what do they call it? The what the Hell House? I can't remember, but it was a secret society in France that they joined, which was a part of the ruling class, and they told the ruling class that they would always be faithful to the people of Europe. In other words, they are not going to actually create this so-called republic, which they switched to democracy, and they're not the same, republic and democracy, but we were sold out from the beginning, or they were sold out. Of course, we're still surviving. But the U.S. and Israel made that strike, I hear, last night. I'm not sure, because I just saw the headlines as I was getting ready to come on this morning, so I haven't read anything, but we know that that is what Israel wants, because they want to rule the world. They want to get rid of the Goyim. Do you know the Goyim? Have you heard of Goyim? Goyim? Many of us have not heard of that. Goyim is everybody that is not a Jew. And according to them, everybody, besides the ones they say are Jews, everybody else is not a Jew. Okay? And so that means that they have a right to get rid of you. They have no responsibility to any God besides that God which they call Baphomet, whoever, Enlil. And so they're into it. They're into it. And if it means that they will destroy, they will. But that doesn't mean that we go. We have the protection. We are the protected ones. We're still here. They've done everything to destroy us, and we're still saving them. Okay, we got to come to our senses. Okay, I'll land that plane, as you guys said.
Well, Mama Kelly, we got some receipts we're getting ready to display this morning. Hey, man, if you can go to that first video with Catherine Fritz. Okay, so let me give you a little background on Catherine Fritz. When I was in D.C. back in the 80s, Reagan and Bush appointed her over as Secretary of HUD. And when she came into the equation, she was a sincere Republican, for whatever that's worth. And she did, when she went in with the intent, we're going to reduce government, we're going to fix this HUD program and all of this. And I keep trying to tell our people over and over again, especially our melanated people, this system was not designed to be fixed. It was designed to do exactly what it's doing: chaos, confusion, enslavement, lies, and deception. The Democrats, the Republicans, all the same club. And we're going to give you a organizational chart of how all that is set up. But let me go into what okay. 25 years ago, she did a report, and I'm not exact on that number, but I remember having a printed copy of it. She went into detail how HUD was designed as a money laundering program for drugs. The whole operation. And when she went in and figured it out, as a good God-fearing Republican, she went like, oh hell, what is going on here? And so she thought she was going to fix it. And they said, darling, this is not designed to be fixed. And she was put out of the equation. But evidently, if she's still alive, which, based on this latest post, she must have kept some receipts and put them in important places that if you mess with me, them receipts gonna get out and all of you are gonna be in trouble. But okay, let me try to read this here. Former U.S. government official who managed 40 billion in federal funds says 21 trillion was quietly stolen to build a secret civilization underground. Catherine Austin Fritz isn't speculating. She watched it happen from the inside. So they had to keep on the inside, so she wouldn't expose the deal about the drug laundering through the HUD department. She sat inside the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. She saw the money move, and she says it went somewhere the public has never meant to find out about. An estimated 170 underground bases, subterranean transportation network, advanced energy technology, and an entire parallel world funded by your tax dollars, built while you were told the budget was too tight for schools and hospitals. The digital financial system being rolled out right now, Fritz says that the control to manage the people left on the surface. So all these systems in place right now, as these demons run to the subterranean world, they still gonna leave a system for the stupid humans that still want to be kings, queens, and gods and all that to still run this con game. It ain't happening. If a former Bush administration official with direct access to federal financing is saying 21 trillion vanished into a secret civilization and the government has never once explained where it went, what does that tell you? Okay, we have mentioned on some shows, hey, you can go ahead and take it over. We'd already mentioned several weeks ago, there is a race there's a civilization, they've been beneath the surface for a very long time. Since the dinosaur ages, they were forced under there because the reptilian phenocode it has the mentality of fight or flight, just like a reptilian. They don't have a whole lot of emotion. So they were, after they did made their contribution to the development of this planet, they were told you can go somewhere else, fertilize another planet, or you're gonna be destroyed. So a lot of them went underground, some of them left the planet, went somewhere else. So, but the ones that went underground, they've been festering and they were used to come to the surface. And that's where Yaku come in, that's where Lilith come in, and that phenocode, in order for them to come to the surface, they had to use the mitochondrial DNA of a melanated woman, which was the scenario of Lilith. And that's how, Caucasian people came to the surface, through the Caucasus Mountain. All right, so as the chairman states on every Saturday, 3-Eye Atlas is a sophisticated flying device that is here to enforce. So these reptilians know their contract is up. They're going back beneath the surface. So on their way going back beneath the surface, they are collecting bodies for food. They're collecting our women and our children to breed beneath the ground so that they can keep breeding human bodies. They like human flesh. As a matter of fact, it's believed that they're serving human flesh through the restaurant chains, and for they create this satanic ritual, just like when you go to church, you eat up the flesh and drink up the blood. That's a satanic ritual. All right. So all they're doing is wrapping up affairs. Now, these idiots that's on the surface that's so used to white supremacy and having privilege based on the color of their skin, not the content of their character, they want to hold on to this BS. So now they're going to go start a war. They actually think that the guardians of the Most High are going to allow these idiots to take over this planet in different regions and chop it up like they did in 1897, 1870, when Europe got together and divided up Africa. It ain't happening. All the melanated people on this planet are waking up, and those that have not awakened, you're going to probably be subjected to being food down beneath the subterranean world if you don't get this from this show. This show today is going to give you the final understanding. If you don't get it, you're going to be food, and you will be a human slave with these reptilians beneath the ground. All right, so that's where we are. That's what's going on with why you got children. If you're leaving your children out there in the world, if you don't understand this system ain't fixed, and your children is rebelling because they can see that this is some crazy stuff. And why should I do right when you got a criminal in the White House and they're robbing countries, stealing, all that? Why should I follow the rules? You got a convicted felon running the country. So how are you going to explain to your children what you need to do right? They're going like, what kind of elders are you? Except, hey, that's what this panel is for. We got 3 elders on here, and we are ushering in a paradigm shift. We understand what needs to be done, and we're doing it. So so if you got children, that's most likely, if you can't find them, they are being shipped underground. So you got one option right now. We have a collective. Right now, if you got your own tribe, fine. You can call yourself the Cherokees, all of these different variants. No problem with that. That's your family name. But all of these families are required to come together under one umbrella and tap into a frequency that will stimulate the Christ energy to shut these idiots down. And praying to their churches. And we got some receipts. We're going to show you how the churches were set up, or any of their religious construct is not the frequency to dial into. All right, so let us move on. Let's start hitting once again before we go on, Chairman, the 3i, because we need an update. Hey man, you got another the 310 video, that next video about the sorority. All right, this also, when you send your children to go into this sort of scenario, this is what's going to happen to them. But go ahead and play that, man.
I sat there and I took advantage of 17, 18, and 19-year-old girls. So I'm not a victim. I brought over 4 lines and I abused 4 lines full of girls. I manipulated them. I sat there and looked these girls' moms in their face and told them that I was taking care of their kids, and I was sitting there abusing their children. All these people, oh my gosh, Epstein, and we should expose. No, we're about to expose you. They set up the altar and they put it at the front of a church and they desecrate the altar.
Whoa.
You would have to repeat the founders over and over and over again, necromancy. If you tell, you going to jail and you getting kicked out of school. Y'all should have walked away. We're implicated. If you got hurt that night, they would drop you off at the hospital and they would all come together and come with a corroborative story. You had deltas that worked at the police station, everything. We did that to 2 girls. We went under investigation and we all got in a room and lied and corroborated our story that we didn't know them. They had a thing called digging for worms that we would do outside blindfolded, where we would dig and dig and dig until our nails bled. Where if you was the girl that had the nicest hair on the line, they would put all types of concoctions and they would ruin your hair.
No.
Yes, they would. We ate dog food. The reason that they can get away with it is because of Hell Night. People are not telling the truth. It would be grace from God if I went to jail. Did we hurt people? What? We brutally hurt people.
No.
Oaths, rituals, necromancy. We was doing spells almost every night. So your memory is gone. Ask people in the comments. Majority of them cannot even remember half of the stuff that they did. It's 9 candles that you light in the Sigma, and they have 9 words, and each day we do a ritual to those words, and all 9 of those words are a blasphemous take on the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. It's a dark room. It has a red candle and a white candle because the deity attached to Delta is Minerva. Minerva is the goddess of wisdom, and we would light that candle to usher the spirit of the wisdom into the atmosphere. We need a female deity. Jesus ain't it. And they would take your hand and you would be hand in hand and say, I light the torch of wisdom. I invite in myself a new life force, which is Delta Sigma Theta. You walk away singing This Little Light of Mine. We had God present. Yeah, you had God present so you could blaspheme him. You're sitting here saying to me, oh, this is a Christian liberty? Oh, nah. And we had to wash ourselves and say, I rid myself of all negative energy. I am refreshed, renewed, and I am reborn.
No.
Yes, we did. National process. Every person has done it. Every person has done it. We had to go give a gift at the altar. And we would have to light candles. We would have to give gifts. And you decide that you want to drop. You become an eternal pyramid. I sat there.
Okay. All right. So, hold Mama Kelly. The chairman been quiet for a minute. The chairman, what's your take on this video?
Wow. I'm astounded. It almost seems unbelievable, but in this modern day, nothing's unbelievable. I could see it basically as I'm thinking about it happening, especially with some of these sororities, even with a lot of these sororities, how some of the young people are losing their lives because they want to put you in this trance state to do certain things that's just against your will. So I'm just surprised, but not surprised. But it's good that it's coming to light, because when you know something's wrong, you can do something about it. When you don't know, what can you do? So just thank God for the internet to bring this to our attention and, awakening people up, because there's a lot to be done, but, we're in the groove and we're bringing this to you, just like we're bringing to you right now what's going on. This isn't no AI. This is real, so we just have to come together. It's the only way we're going to prevent it, because there's more of us than it is them, you know, and a lot of us get involved because we don't know any better, because we're being taught other things that make us feel like we want to be a part of this organization. But these organizations aren't beneficial for us, not for society itself. So that's my take on it. Hey, I'm just keeping an open mind.
All right. Well, we're coming back to you. We need to update on 3 Hours. Mama Kelly, what did I know you had those encounters with the sororities and fraternities and all that. What's your take on this?
Well, I'm so happy that it's being exposed, because so many of our young people who get into, go to college, they are encouraged, especially the HBCUs. They're encouraged to join these sororities and fraternities. And just like the young lady explained just now in this video, they have to go through so many rituals, their own abuse. They must be abused. They must suffer pain and character destruction. I mean, in order to join a sorority or fraternity, you basically have to give in everything. You have to give yourself up to whatever deity that they are worshiping. And because we know that these fraternities and sororities actually they work under the Illuminati, and then we know that they are on that same path of worshiping Satan, Baphomet, whatever you want to call it. And so our young people, they don't know this, but they're looking to go to college, get a good job, and generally those good jobs are working for the government. Well, they just lost 300,000 and another 150,000, I heard, as far as our women are concerned. And believe me, most of them are from those sororities. And the men who get together, who join the fraternities, they're also a part of this fraternity. They're also a part of this satanic cult. And you see, the thing is, they don't know. Young people, they don't know better. I mean, what do you know when you're 18, 19, 20, 21? You don't know nothing. I know I didn't. And so you can be pulled into this, especially if your parents are pushing you, or if you just have that ambition inside of you, where you want to, nothing wrong with wanting to elevate yourself and be better. That's good. But to sell your soul, no. There's nothing out there. There's nothing that's worth actually selling your soul. And that's what they do. And many of our preachers, in fact, most of them, they're either Masons, they're in a fraternity, or they Boule. And every one of them are devil worshippers. And they think they're worshiping Christ. But the Christ that they are worshiping is the satanic Christ, not the Christ. They're not looking for Christ's consciousness, and look, it's just all demonic. They have fallen into the trap of Satan.
Absolutely. So I got to now, my son. But I'm not going to bore you guys with what happened to me, how the guardians of the Most High intervened to stop me from getting into one of them sororities. It was a work of art. It was one day I'm gonna do it on another show. But I never encouraged my son to get involved in none of that stuff. We're gonna get his take on this. As a matter of fact, when he was 12 years old, and I knew junior high school he was going to, they were developing gangs. So I said, look here, man. When you go to school, them boys approach you about joining the gang, just let them know you and your father's gang. And I'm the biggest gangster in town. So I have no problems out there. But look here, man. Hey, Junior, what do you think about them sororities and some of your friends that went to school that got caught up in that? What's going on from your generation?
Since I didn't get into them, I don't have. They wouldn't tell me. And it's understandable, but I can imagine, what happened, because I do know some people now who I know are in fraternities, and they wear it like that. They wear it like a badge of honor, of a gang. But we know what's happening. Like Chairman said, with the internet right now, you see stuff coming out that happens behind the scenes now, and it's a lot of questionable stuff that goes down that we see is coming out that they, was not supposed to be let out. But just thinking about, being raised in the conscious community, right? That was one thing that you and moms did for me that allowed me to look at that with a side eye as a young man from the jump. Because I was always wondering, why y'all trying to get into a Greek fraternity in the first place? Like, why y'all trying to? It's like, even at the time when we were all thinking it was Afro pride. I was like, why ain't y'all getting into a Afro fraternity? You see what I'm saying? Why ain't y'all getting into a fraternity that is promoting your own heritage and culture? What is this Greek fraternity thing about? Right. And then, then you get to learn a little bit more, and you start learning about the Greeks and their whole culture. And what they learned, in other words, what Greeks learned as far as ritual and ceremonial practice back then, what they learned from Egyptians on how to create gods. They learned that back then from Egyptians. Yeah, matter of fact, and we ain't even talking about Caucasian Greeks. It was the Etruscans. They look just like us. Etruscans were quote unquote Black Greeks, look just like us, but they were able to go down into Kemet, learn the concepts of how to create a god. This is the same process that happened when they created Jesus Christ. Same process. learn how they learn the rituals on how to come up with a deity that would basically take over your psycho programming, right? And so, that whole thing, cultivating over a millennium, and then coming over here to the quote unquote Western world, by way of small hats. That's what we're gonna start calling those U's that we can't name. Otherwise, they try to start shutting us down. I would call them small hats. Small hats start ushering in those different psychology programs for the sake of control. Now, just like Mama Kelly was saying, those fraternities, one of the main reasons people get into them. What was the main reason? So you would have connections when you got out of college. Connections to do what? Connections to go get a job and or further your career. What are the only reasons you're getting a job and or a career for? To get money. I mean, you're gonna do it for some level of accolade and purpose, but you ain't gonna do none of it if it ain't gonna get you no money. Right? You ain't gonna do not a bit of it if it ain't gonna get you no money. So, and we just have to remember, like, and over here in this system, in this demonic system, and there's a two-faced God here. You've got an image of some phenotype of Europe as one face of the God. The other face of it is the tangible trading instrument of money. That's the other God right there over here in this country. That's the other God. And it has the phenotype, it has the face on it as well. Right? So that's the only thing that they're, that's what the, and so when when I'm doing my orientations for tribal nationality, and I'm going over the concept of fraudulent negotiable instruments, right? And one of the most prime fraudulent negotiable instruments is USD, right? I tell them all the time. I say, listen, family, y'all, I don't want y'all getting fanatical about trying to find Sister QV Trust and trying to get access to those estates and getting religious about UCC. In other words, trying to play their game too much. That's what they want you to do. They invite you to play their game. You see what I'm saying? It's like you trying to find little rabbit holes and do research and due diligence. I try to tell them all the time that sovereign citizen movement is about 20 years old at minimum. And I tell them every time, the people who put that out there first, I said it was Caucasian males who were trying to get from up under the tyranny of the only government that they can acquiesce to. They were just leaking information that they found out so they can be as comfortable as possible in hell. That's what the sovereign citizen movement was. Mm-hmm. Caucasian males trying to be as comfortable as possible in hell that when they found out, I ain't got nowhere else, I can't go back to Europe. It's like, and I'm realizing the government that I'm a part of here, that I usher in and help push in, or let's say contribute to be oppressive to every Aboriginal out there. It's like I'm just a cog in the machine too. Well, let me be how can I be as comfortable as I possibly can as a cog here? As they start putting out the information on. And so UCC is a bunch of Caucasian male attorneys putting together a code of Black's law, language, and everything, and every other spell and piece of witchcraft they came up with. Just so they can play and use it. They just happen to leak. And we start anyway. So coming all the way back, saying all that to say this. Black fraternities and sororities getting involved in it is just a particular PSYOPs program dedicated to us, since we were going to start utilizing USD because civil rights era. Because we got assimilated into the thing. Right? So because they knew if we was going to start utilizing it, there had to be a control mechanism to where if we was going to utilize it, we had to make sure that we were going to give it right back to them. I'll land that plane right there.
All right. So to my fellow brothers and sisters that enrolled in those fraternities, or once again, you did it under duress because you were looking for ways of getting one up or trying to establish a family. We understand that. But there comes a point when you need to reflect on shows like this to say, maybe I went down that path. It's time. So you the window is about to close. That's what 2 a.m. this morning, I got a news alert about they were attacking Iran. That window, that USD window is about to close because it is going into a totally different system, and only people that are loyal to this Luciferian agenda are going to be able to survive. And so you have a choice. Do I want to go down that dark path of destruction where it's guaranteed for destruction, or are you going to come into the light or use this Christ energy within you as a collective to change this narrative? All right, so we got one other video I wanted to play because, I saw, what's that last one, man? February the 7th. I saw Hillary Clinton. These are receipts that are coming out. Is that the one for is that February the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, let's play that one. Let's show you, we're going to show you the outline of how this thing is set up. Okay, so and it's what and as a business major, we understand what organizational chart is. So here we have a organizational chart of how this system, Baal at the top, is one of the so-called fallen angels that was contracted to come to this planet and test us as a species. But it has Baal at the top, has the Rothschilds, the royal families, the Rockefellers. All these are demons. All these are low frequency entities that were contracted to come here and test us, to force us to come together under the sign of under the auspices of the light and the Christ energy within each and every one of us.
Really quick. Matter of fact, let me just give some real good context. And we have this in our book, Lucifer's Revenge. Who is Baal? Very good question, right? So Baal is one of Yahweh's sons. Baal is one of Yahweh's sons, and one of Yahweh's brothers. In other words, Yahweh had a mother and a father first. For all my Christian family out there, if y'all didn't know that, Yahweh had a mother and a father. Their names were El and Asherah. That was their names. You look it up. You gotta believe me. Okay. And Yahweh was one of 70 children. So before Yahweh's name became God, it was Yahweh, right? And Yahweh was one of 70 children of El and Asherah in the land of Canaan. That's what happened. Mom Kelly, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to say, well, let me not. Yeah, it's I better not. Okay. Although Yahweh is also Enlil.
Enlil, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we so because many of our people are still calling on Yahweh, thinking that they're calling on the Christ consciousness or that Jesus Christ, which is Yahweh, but they don't know it.
Yeah.
Okay. So many of our people are stuck there. They don't know that Yahweh is the evil one.
And again, we put this in the book, lucifersrevenge.net. Go get it. How do we know Yahweh is Enlil? Very simple. For all of my people who know the Bible very well, I forget which scripture it is, but it states very clearly in the Bible that Abraham is a Chaldean from the city of Ur. Abraham is a Chaldean from the city of Ur. The city of Ur was in Sumer. There was only one city of Ur on the whole planet. Abraham is from Ur. The patron deity for the city of Ur was Enlil's son, while Enlil was in jail. So the only person who had the capability at the time to call Abraham from his city that he grew up in Sumer, to another land was Enlil. That's who he worshiped his whole life. Abraham worshiped Enlil and Enlil's son his whole life. He was 70 years old when he left the city of Ur. For 70 years, that's who he worshiped. That's all he knew. Who else was talking to him? And then he goes over to the land of Canaan, and it starts following. Yeah. So all right, let's get this thing going. Sound. Oh, so it's just a diagram.
It's just the org chart.
Okay.
So if you look at this and you look at these entities, you got the Zionists, the Vatican, and the Freemasons on the same role in the organization chart. Then you got the world leaders. I think below, I don't know if there's anything below, but I know that's where all of the sororities and the fraternities, I believe they're connected to the Freemasons. What do you think, Mama Kelly?
Well, it is a Masonic order. You know, they are connected with the Freemasons. Oh, well, you know, underneath you see the videos of the you know, the people with the cameras, and then you see the people like the world leaders, and then their minions underneath. Well, all the rest of the people are underneath the, you know, the so-called Congress and leadership like that, you know. But the people are on the bottom and they have no power, although they are the numbers. And see, the thing about it is they think that they can still do what they think they want to do, which is to put us into a digital prison. And some of us, unfortunately, many of our own people who are, quote, at the top, our people, are going to be caught. They're going to be caught because they still believe in this system. And I can't see why they can't see anything else.
All right.
I don't see it.
Okay. So let us, Chairman, as we start wrapping, can you give us an update? Because 3i Atlas is critical for us to understand that is the supreme power, I call them the guardians of the Most High. They have a purpose, and we need to pay attention. Don't let this slip away because the news media ain't talking about it anymore. But Chairman, what you have an update on what's going on with it?
Yes, 3i Atlas is still on the move, and they're approaching Jupiter. In fact, 2 more weeks, it should be almost like a perihelion to Jupiter, right across from it. Well, Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. And by it being the largest planet in our solar system, it has more gravitational pull than any other planet. So if you get to the Hill radius, and that's the area of space where if you're outside of the Hill radius, you're not affected by Jupiter's gravity. But if you get into that Hill radius, then Jupiter will pull you in and destroy you unless you got some means of propulsion to, keep you, on a keel that's, not getting into that destructive area. Now, what really puzzles me is we've got this Juno probe that's outside of, well, it's not outside of Jupiter, but it's inside of the Jupiter Hill radius. but it's not being really affected. So I can't get into its propulsion and the powers that it has, but that's something to consider. But Jupiter is still, well, not Jupiter, but 3i Atlas is still making alterations on its course where they still don't know if it's going to get into Jupiter's gravity and circle around it like the moons of Jupiter. Now, a lot of people don't know, but Jupiter has 95 moons revolving around it, you know. And with a telescope like the one that I have, I could see 4 of them real easy, you know. But 95 moons, that's a lot of moons. The next planet in our solar system is the largest is Saturn, and Saturn's got about 70 something moons. I think we're like an oddball. We only got one, and Mars has two, but yeah, we should know a little bit more about 3i Atlas in the next 2 weeks, whether it's going to stay on its course and continue towards Saturn and then Uranus, Neptune, heading in that direction, getting further away from us, further away from our telescopes where we won't be able to observe whether they're dropping off some probes or something to, monitor us, but it's happening. And, we only can do is just continue to watch it, get all the information we can, because a lot of the scientists now are trying to say it's an object instead of a comet, you know, and that's really important because we say it's a probe because it's got at least 17 anomalies proving that it's not a comet. So I don't know why we're getting into the fact that, oh, it's a comet and it's a comet. Some scientists are saying, and leave it alone. Like there's something they don't want you to know. And we know how the system is. They don't want us to know a lot of things, but we got spiritual powers to give us, thought power to understand a lot of things that are going on by just reading between the lines. But we just got to wake up and recognize, information is flowing all the time, but you just got to be in tune. And when you're in tune, you can learn what they're doing, even though we don't have the telescopes that they have access to, because they don't even want some top scientists understanding, what's really going on and trying to contradict what they're saying. But hold on tight because there's more to come. But the biggest thing is going to be when it gets into that Hill radius part of Jupiter, and it's going to explain a whole lot of things. So, yeah.
All right, Chairman. Mama Kelly, can you give us a second and emotion to give the feminine energy, explaining to our people that the Bible and its metaphors was just that there are other beings out there that far more advanced than us, and that they're giving us signals to get our act together. Can you give us a second? Explain it to your elders' feminine energy.
Yes, we have always called on angels, and our angels are our ancestors, and they are always with us. And especially if we actually invite them. And we have to be careful what energy we invite, okay? Because, everybody's mother isn't like my mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you might not want to call your uncle or your daddy, depending on what they were and did and how you reacted to them. But we have always depended on the angels, great spirit to come, because we know that that great spirit will come. And it's always don't have to come. It's within you. And it's like calling on that energy, that perfection that is within, that will liberate us. Now, as far as 3i Atlas is concerned, it is an intelligence that came from the center of our galaxy to actually tell us which way to move. Now,
Amen.
the one thing that I want to add to what our brother said was that, and now there is one of the scientists from Harvard, who wrote, a scientific paper, and they refused to publish it because he said that it is intelligent. And see, until a theory or something like this is published in an acceptable scientific journal, then it doesn't count. In other words, if they don't want you to know it, they will not actually publish it in a so-called scientific journal, so that it is not an acceptable scientific fact. But we do know that the science that has emerged in the past, the Piscean Age, is not pure science. It is not science. It's a pseudoscience. And it's being disproved every day. You know somebody named Fauci?
Yes.
Okay.
COVID.
Yeah. So we have false signs everywhere. They say glyphosate is okay, the weed killer, Roundup. This is science. So is this the science we want to follow? No. No.
All right, we got one more video that I missed, and we're giving you these receipts to help you navigate, because a lot of people, I've had 3 phone calls this morning. You get the one for February the 7th. We're gonna bring that one up briefly. I've had 3 phone calls. Man, what's going on? Well, I've had to explain.
We already played the one for February 7th.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the one for 10/12? So I'm getting calls. People want to know what's going on. I'm explaining it to them. That's what we're doing on this show. We're explaining to you in plain English what's going on, and so that you can make that decision and you don't freak out. You won't be able to, and you need to let everybody know about this show. We might go a few minutes over on this one, but we're just giving you some receipts to help you make up your mind, to help you understand while we go. While he find that video, also, as we gravitate together as a nation, the Jesse Jackson passed last week, and that was one of the legacies that I wanted to talk about. He passed last week, and Jesse was the one back in 1986 that advocated that we call ourselves African Americans. But all the while, it is believed that he was getting a check as a Cherokee. I don't have proof. It's hearsay. Mama Kelly, do you have any proof on that?
I don't have any proof, but I do know that the Civil Rights Bill of 1964 was for the American Indians, and they knew who the American Indians were. Okay?
Oh.
They are, look, the government is not, they know who we are. It's not a secret to the government. And when they did the Civil Rights Bill, that's civil rights, not human rights. So that meant that they could do whatever the hell they wanted to us, because under their jurisdiction in civil rights, they can do whatever the hell they want to us. Human rights is under another jurisdiction. Okay. So as far as him receiving, look, the things that I know about Jesse Jackson, I don't even want to start talking about it.
Okay.
And I know a few things. Okay.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're bringing forth receipts, because our people, our listening audience, they got to make some decisions. and the window is closing. You don't have all day, all week to make this decision. And the decision is very simple. I am no longer African American. I'm separating from the United States of corporate America and reestablishing our nationality as Aboriginal Americans. And the collective of Aboriginal Americans is going to come together and tap into their Christ soul and say, we are no longer complicit with this madness. Play this video right quick, man. The show
leaders are low-life scum that screw little girls so the Jews can screw America. That's what's happening in this country. I just said it. That's what's going on in this country. And our FBI is corrupt. The Supreme Court is corrupt. The Justice Department is corrupt. The news media is corrupt. The whole country is corrupt because we've walked away from Almighty God and we've allowed Kabbalah practicing Jews to defile the nation. Put that video out. Go ahead and clip this video and send it out. I dare you. You won't do it because you're scared that the truth may get out to the American people. I'm had it up to here with the corruption in this country. Little children being raped for the benefit of Israel. That's all it's about, Doc. Little American children being raped for the benefit of Israel. American politicians raping little American girls to be videotaped by Israeli Mossad so that Israel can blackmail American politicians. That's the state of America today. In our
All right, so after Hillary Clinton had been deposed for 5 or 6 hours, she came out to the microphone with a straight face. I never knew Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, she was smiling and just says, but I knew Maxwell and casually. And I'm going like, well, Maxwell was the madam. The pimp don't do nothing but sit back and enforce. Maxwell was the one that was bringing you the children. And so if you knew her, so you didn't know Epstein, come on. So the bottom line here is this is a madness. Everybody should be up to here with this bull crap. Everybody. And so where we are right now is we have a nation of Aboriginal people coming together. And guess what? As you American Aboriginals come together, the rest of the world is waiting on you because they know we have some special juju here in North America. They know this. And so all we have to do, all you Soros fraternity, drop all that crap and use your energy and your resources. Let's join together. Bring our resources together, but more than bringing the resources, bring your spirit saying, I got hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray, and I'm no longer complicit with this, and get with us. And so what we're doing right now, you go to uaarnation.org, submitting your information, start your status correction saying, I'm no longer complicit. We are developing a nation to change, usher in this paradigm shift, to start calling on the true Christ energy that's within each and every one of us, and we're going to make a change. And that's where we are right now. So, hey, Julian, can you give us one more short breakdown on what happens when they come in the nation? Now, I have to give Andre Jr. some credit, because I think last week I said, hey, well, come in and get involved. Some of your immediate benefits, you don't have to pay sales taxes. My son corrected and said, look, you ought to be wanting to come in and get involved just so we can start building, not what kind of immediate breaks, incentives you're going to get. You should want to do it to start building a nation. I said, wow. So I know a lot of you are disappointed with or don't have any faith in their generation. It's because you're trying to get them to be complicit to all this crap we've just shown you. So they have no respect for you. But go ahead, man. Tell them what they need to do right now by getting involved and bringing this frequency together so we can flip the switch on these demons.
All right. So first things, family, go to uaarnation.org. go to the nationality. It's going to say nationality and trust. Go to that page, read the instructions. Not a lot of stuff to read, but just read the instructions carefully. And what you're going to see is instructions to get a tribal screening first. You hit that link, go to our tribal family that does the tribal screening, which is a genealogy search for you. So you're going to figure out your family tree and lineage that's going to link you to your Aboriginal heritage here in the Americas. All right. That's important because as a chief jurist of our tribal government, I can't nationalize you unless you've done your genealogy. Also, I can't nationalize you unless you are of the bloodline and or are born on the soil. That's just the international standard of what we call citizenship or nationality, right? So I need to know that so I can nationalize you, okay? So after you do the genealogy, the tribal screening, you'll come to me. One or two things will happen. If you come to me, I say about in the next couple of weeks, you'll get an upfront orientation where you'll sit down with me via Zoom, probably with several other people that are going through the process as well. I'm going to explain to you everything that comes along with the nationality process. Right. And we're going to talk family to family. That's going to be the main thing. We're going to have a meeting of the minds, right? We'll get an understanding on where you at mentally and in your heart and soul. And so I can do my best to encourage you and let you know that you are worthy of walking this journey with us. You feel me? Because I know a lot of you are trying to figure out, how do I get in where I fit in? I'm telling all of y'all this right now. I don't care what you do and don't know yet. All I care about is that you have the will to walk the journey. That's all that really matters. You learn the information along the way, but it's really your will and desire to do this, right? So that's what we're going to have a conversation about during the orientation. Now, and I'm saying all of this because I like to be transparent. After a couple of weeks, we switching up the format because we got so many people coming in. We have to do this most efficiently. Probably in about a couple of weeks, we'll have it to where you just donate for the orientation up front. You'll get the video. You'll listen to me explain the whole nationality process in a link video that we'll send to you. But then we'll also give you a link to do a orientation, or let's say a sit down with me in a group setting again on, let's say, a weekly basis or on a scheduled time. Like, in other words, I'll do them every Friday at this time. You can guarantee I'll be there. And I'm gonna talk to everybody every, let's say, tentatively Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We get in there and we talk, fam. And that's important to do, is because I understand y'all have been out here trying to get this process going, paying for a lot of information and been leading into hurdles, dead ends, all of the such. We don't do that over here. It's like we sit down and we talk family to family. And just like Pop said, if you talk to me, I'm gonna tell you, we about building over here. We're about building. Meaning, it's like, now mind you, when I say building, I mean, yeah, I got a background in construction. I like to tangibly build, but we're also talking about rebuilding our families, rebuilding our spirits and our souls. We're incubating, we are revitalizing ourselves so that we can, it's like we can, what's that saying? We can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. We're going to walk and heal at the same time. That's what this movement is all about. So again, just go to uaarnation.org, go to the nationality page, read the instructions, start the process, family. And again, it's like we're very keen on making sure you talk to us. We need to talk to you. You need to talk to us. Also, too, we're very big on security. We just ain't letting just anybody in the tribe. Meaning we're not discriminating against people for like little petty reasons. But on the same token, we're not letting. Because I'm saying that to say this: we done had some of the other folks try to get in the tribe. I had to stop them at the gate. We didn't see it. We didn't see it. We done had infiltrators already. Already, believe that. But I can't let them in because I'm not going to let them in and poison our table because this is who we're building this for, children. So I can't let this thing get contaminated before we even hand the foundation off to the children. All right. So my point of saying that is just respect the security process, because we have plenty of history. We got 3 elders here who will tell you all about all of the movements that have been infiltrated with, right? So I'm just learning from the elders I have before me. We just ain't gonna make them same mistakes again. Okay. So again, last time, uaarnation.org. Go to the nationality page and just go through the process, family.
All right. So when you're coming in, your heart need to be light as a feather. Chairman, what's your last 60 seconds? What are your closing statements, and where they can find your book?
Okay, with my book, God's Child, you can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or my website, www.godschildren.biz. And my last words for today is come together. There are a lot of things that are happening on the world stage that you have to come together with somebody, some group, some organization, because you got sleeper cells over here. Let's be for real. And if they start attacking, you're going to have to know where to go or who to come with or what fort you need to be at to protect yourself. Because I don't want to scare anybody, but this shit is real.
Yeah.
I'll end that. Land that spaceship.
Hey, thank you, Chairman. Mama Kelly, what's your final statement, and what are your instructions?
I will just ditto what Bruh just said. This is real. And we have to look at these things. We can't just say, oh, well, I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to just work on myself. Of course, we have to work on ourselves, but we also have to know what they're doing over there. We can't close our eyes. You see, because the minute you close your eyes, then they're going to sneak something up on you. You have to be involved, even in this third dimension, as we ascend. Okay, so and we have to trust each other. So I thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to speak today. Thank you.
Absolutely, we're glad to have you. So go to lucifersrevenge.net, get a copy of our book, get the chairman's book. That's right. That's the start in the process of being re-educated, because you've been taught a bunch of nonsense up to this point. So, hey, son, go ahead and close us out. Hey, this has been a power-packed show. Man, I love it when it flows like this. Go ahead and close us out, man.
Indeed. All right, family. This has been a Straight Talk Network show. We love y'all as always. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Peace, everybody.